Today we're going to learn the method of completing the square. What we have today is a quadratic equation, x squared plus 8x minus 20 equals 0. In order to solve this by the completing the square method, we first add 20 to both sides of the equation. That is the addition property of equality. As long as we do the same thing to each side of the equation, then it is legal. What we're going to get is x squared plus 8x equals 20. Now, to complete the square, this involves taking that middle term, 8x, and looking at the coefficient, which is 8, taking half of that coefficient, which is 4, and squaring it, hence completing the square. And that will give us 16. We're going to take that 16 and we're going to put it back on the left side and the right side of the equation. So it will look like this: x squared plus 8x plus 16 equals 20 plus 16. So essentially we're not changing the value of the equation since we're adding the same thing to both sides, but we will be changing the way it looks. Here we now have a perfect square trinomial which is factorable into two binomials. We can rewrite this trinomial as the product of x plus 4, which is half of 8, times x plus 4. And on the right side, 20 plus 16 will be 36. By writing it this way, it allows us to combine these two products into one. X plus 4 quantity squared, which equals 36. Now, to solve this, we simply have to take the square root of both sides. So we're going to take the square root. As long as we do the same operation to each side of the equation, that is legal. And by taking the square root of a quantity squared, the square root and the square will reduce out. And we're left with x plus 4 equals the square root of 36. And the square root of 36 is 6, because 6 times 6 is 36, but also negative 6, because negative 6 times negative 6 is 36 as well. So we have to put down positive and negative 6. Finally, to solve this equation, we simply subtract 4 from each side of the equation, and we are left with x equals negative 4 plus 6, or x equals negative 4 minus 6. Performing this operation, negative 4 plus 6 will yield 2. And here, negative 4 minus 6 will be negative 10. And these are the two solutions of the quadratic equation. And that is how to complete the square.